Welcome to a lost settlement in Georgia. I'm in Wrightsboro, Georgia, and these simple little stairs here were built by a lost settlement of which my ancestors were a part of. You see, my family lived in Georgia in the late 1700s, and while these steps have probably been replaced several times, this building behind was undoubtedly crafted by my great-grandfather, Francis. And they would have walked up these steps to go to the meeting house on Sunday mornings. They were Quakers, and they had a nonviolent and a passive way of living, just like the stairs around them. You see, they refused to defend themselves or to fight in battles. And around this area, the Revolutionary War had begun to rage just 15 years after they came. And the British, they had incited several Indians to attack the people who were living in Georgia. And my family, they were attacked, but they refused to defend themselves. They lost a lot of property during that time. But it was in 1781, toward the close of the Revolutionary War, when a group of Americans, the rebels, not the British, they came in and they killed 35 people here in this settlement of Wrightsboro. Some of them were laying in their own beds. My great-grandfather Francis lost some of his children during that time. You see, they were killed not because they were fighting, but because they wouldn't fight against the British. The Quakers, they worked hard, they were disciplined, and their strength and their economic prosperity, it came because they worked together. And in 1805, this community had had enough of Georgia, and they decided to leave en masse, and that's why this is a lost settlement. The reason for leaving wasn't war, and it wasn't about all these obnoxious mosquitoes that are buzzing all around me, or the incredibly humid and hot summers that they had to endure. But they were leaving because slavery was so obnoxious to them, and they couldn't stand it any longer. They could see there was no chance of changing the tide in Georgia, and they wanted to take their lives and they wanted to populate a free state. And so they moved to Ohio as a group of over 40 families. They just picked up and they left everything other than what they could carry on a few of their wagons. There are very few remnants of what was a thriving community around here. There's a log home that my great-grandfather probably built, maybe even lived in that home. And there are a few other tombstones, but we can't find any grave markers of any of my ancestors because the Quakers were plain and simple people who were just buried with simple ceremony, and a small headstone was there to mark their death without any engraving. Simplicity. It might be the most difficult virtue, and certainly one of the most difficult design criteria. Never mistake simplicity for a lack of talent. Simplicity is the mark of supreme talent. You see anyone who can make things complicated or complex, but very, very few people have the talent and the conviction to build something of simplicity. My great-grandfather Francis, he walked down these simple stairs for the very last time in 1805. He began the 700-mile journey to Ohio on foot. He walked straight through the land where the Cherokee Indians lived, the same Cherokee Indians who had been incited to attack and even kill some of his children. And when he met the first Cherokee Indian leaders there in 1805, it was an awkward meeting. That awkward meeting quickly turned warm. The Cherokees recognized him as a person of simplicity and a person of peace. And they said, "Francis, you're 81 years old. You're too old to be walking the 700-mile journey." And so they picked him up and they carried him all the way to the banks of the Ohio River. My friends, the structures we build, the stairs, the railings, they're long-lasting. But people are eternal. And let's always commit ourselves to treat everyone as an eternal human being. Let's go, Viewrail.